That's right, I found new figures. Thanks to the Next 17, who are, in fact, churning out figures like they're making it rain, Kenner. It is like poo, poo, poo. So, Wave 2, I have spoken a little bit about Wave 2 before. We had a very, very, very brief look at them when I announced that Wave 3, well, not that I announced it, when they announced Wave 3, and I did a video saying, like, hey, look, it's Wave 3. So, now I wanted to have just a bit more of an in-depth look and a discussion about this wave. This is actually part 1 of 3 videos. Yes, 3. I know, I committed myself to a 3-part video, which is pretty impressive considering how sporadically I do them. So, but you'll actually see these in fairly quick succession. So, you've got at least 3 more videos of me talking about the Next 17. Yes, I'm wearing a solo t-shirt. Do any of these feature in solo? No, they don't. But deal with it. Anyway, let's have a look at what we got. Wave 2 consisted of young ObiWan Kenobi. I renamed him. Master Luke. ObiWan Kenobi, Death Star Prowl. Tannis Spijic, because I don't know how to pronounce his name. And J Quill, aka J Quallen. And also, Baby Wampa, belly in the shop, Baby Wampa. I'm just going to leave him like that, I think, for the moment. Actually, that's quite cute. Rather cute, rather adorable. So we're going to have a look at this wave of figures today. This is by no means all the Next 17 figures I've got. Like I said, we've got some Ephant Mon variants to look at. That will be out on Monday. That is Ephant Monday. I know. I'm so impressed with myself that I came up with that little pun. And Wave 2B, the variant, will be at some point next week, because I haven't finished doing that, because I've got to film in the dark. Mystery. But here we are. So let's have a look at these figures, and we'll do sort of some kind of fancy effect transition-y shot thing. Ta-da! Here we go, young ObiWan Kenobi. So I've started off with him. So this is more like I call him young ObiWan Kenobi. That's not his official name, by the way. It's just ObiWan Kenobi, but it's the Tatooine Exile type one. In fact, actually, I can look at this card back. This rather groovy style card back that came in. And he is officially known as, figure number 1, ObiWan Kenobi Tatooine Arrival is the official name of the figure. I just, you know what I'm like with nicknames things. I give everything a nickname. So, right off the bat, here's the first figure I'm holding and showing you. You notice it's got a purple lightsaber. That didn't come with the figure. However, you can get them in different colours from the Next 17 shop. The quality is awesome. Quick thing about the sabers, actually, before we start, you stay there. A lot of the people are anti-repro. I understand it. You're entitled to those thoughts, feelings. I really appreciate it. Just don't be a dick, okay? That's my only request. But you're never going to have that problem with the Next 17 sabers, because very cleverly, this one is purple, but they're a bit more movie accurate, because very cleverly the buttons are actually only on one side, just like in the film. So effectively, if you're holding it, the buttons. I'm holding it as if it's a real lightsaber. Like, yes, like I'm a miniature Jedi, like my father before me. 3 buttons on one side, smooth on the other. Makes it nice for holding, which is good, because it also gives the thumbs a little something to groove to get into, but it also keeps it flat on the other side. So it's a really nice, they're really well made, by the way. Go check them out. There's glow-in-the-dark ones. There's double lightsabers now, which we're going to see in a later video. Real selection. But about the figure itself. So it comes with a blue lightsaber. I just wanted a purple one because I can. Joints are really nice and tight. So you got the head movement, so it's 5 points of articulation. It's of the design a bit like the Emperor's, the Imperial Dignitary, the Emperor himself, Bib Fortuna, the kind of the Spirit Anakin, Spirit of Anakin, yeah, Anakin Spirit. That's the Spirit Anakin. Dead Guy Anakin. They all had these sort of cloth type robe legs. I have always been quite partial to them. I'm always glad they didn't do a Mon Mothma in that style. Because yes, I was one of those weird kids who genuinely did want a Mon Mothma figure for my diorama, because I thought she was a very important character. I kind of thought of her as like the leader of the rebels when I was a kid. So I was like, okay, I've got I have a command crew, but I don't have a leader of the rebellion yet. But that kind of style, which is lovely. One thing that these figures really deserve a lot of credit for is the gap. It's a weird thing to bring out, but the gap here. So I've seen in a few other people's attempts to do these figures, especially custom-wise, and resin making kind of things, which is so impressive, and I admire everyone who does it. Genuinely, great efforts. But these are proper steel mold factory made figures. These are like Kenner made figures. The gap has been engineered so well that there's clearance for when you're sitting flat without scraping the paint, but there's like no light going through it at all. Like, only if you really sort of squint, maybe you could see the tiniest gaps, but it's Kenner levels of thigh gap, or whatever you want to call it, crotch gap, thigh gap, gappity gap. And that is a really impressive bit of engineering to get on a figure that, you know, you're custom designing. It's one thing doing a digital render and 3D model, but having to have that translate into prototypes and then steel molds, and it's to survive that whole distance just shows how much attention to detail there really is. The robe design is brilliant. The face sculpt is really good. It's like a mix between Kenobi that we saw in the new series and Alec McGuinness. It's almost like the evolving face. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't zoom too well on the faces. So, you know, little sales plug. You'll just have to buy them for yourself and see them up close. By the way, I don't make any money selling Next 17 figures. I am not the Next 17. I wish I was, because then I would just give myself an infinite army of all these figures. Yeah, really nicely sculpted, really well painted. The eyes are really well done. It has got that look of later Kenner. So not early Kenner in the first 12, but is very much a Next 17 following the last 17. Which one should we go next? Let's stick with the sort of the EU stuff and go for Jedi Master Luke. So I say EU, robe-wise, very reminiscent of Last Jedi Luke's robes. The face sculpt, again, really good. It's that kind of, it looks a bit more like Mark Hamill. So last bits, you know, facially, they got a little bit better in that last 17, you know, that last little bit of the Return of the Jedi Power of the Force run. Really nice detail. Black glove. I really like that. I just love the idea that he kept the black glove. It's a really bit of clever engineering in regards to using one mold to make several figures, because the molds, one thing that these third-party creators who are doing factory-made figures do not get enough credit for, they have to put the money up for these molds themselves. These are expensive things to make, expensive to manufacture. There's prototypes, digital modeling, then it's all about the colorizing. There's backs and forths to these factories. Normally they're in China, so the time difference is insane. You know, but these people are putting a lot of money up front because they're so passionate and they want to make figures for us, for the people who still want to get those figures, who want to live in that part of their childhoods and in that nostalgia world. So that's something that's very important I wanted to note, is about actually give the credit where credit is due. One thing you'll notice about here is that it's soft goods cape. So you can buy some capes on their own in the Jedi accessories pack, which comes with 2 different capes, a brown cape and a grey cape, and also a purple lightsaber, green lightsaber, blue lightsaber. I'm looking at the back of the card because, like a true child, I opened it all, started playing with it, and then was like, a bit like with a Lego kit, almost couldn't remember off the top of my head which bits went, which bits bit, because I just started playing with them, and which is what you're meant to do with toys, all right? Get off my back. But the soft goods cape, it's lovely, lovely. It's got a really clever slit in it, so it's got like a circle and a slit, so that it can go over the head and then close up a bit at the back, so it doesn't become really loose. It sits really well. There is instructions to roll the cape first, which gives it more of a rounded cloak look. I decided not to with this one. I don't know why. I just really wanted like a Bishop Brennan from Father Ted, like big cloak. So I gave it a tiny bit of a roll, but I mainly kept it open because just personal preference. I wanted to have a big open cape. I guess I wanted to put like a wind machine behind it maybe and be like, ah, la, la. Maybe or something like that. But again, beautiful molding. Great way to reuse the steel mold for the body, but a brand new head. Big fan, big fan, big fan. Also, there was an unproduced Jedi Master Luke figure that featured an early prototype stage for some of the Kenner material, which is worth looking up. So this is also like a good compromise, so you can have a Jedi Master Luke. Not quite as intended, but close, Let's see what figure we're going to go to next. I'm thinking time for another stupid transition. Wibbly wobbly wobbly wibbly wobbly wibbly wobbly. Ta-da! This is Tannis Spijic. I'm probably not saying that right, but Spijic. Need to wash that down. Tannis Spijic I think that's how it's pronounced. One of those characters where the name's never really said anywhere, so you don't really know how it's pronounced other than what's in your head. It was a bit like for me, Prince Shishor, apparently as it's meant to be pronounced. I always thought it was Exior when I was reading it as a kid, because I didn't really know many words that began with X other than X-ray. So it was like Exior or something like that. Yeah, very odd names, but Tannis Spijic is one of them. I think that's how it's pronounced. What a figure, man. I love the background aliens of the Cantina, Jabba's Palace. They were my two big, really massive pause and try and zoom in bit, looking through the Star Wars visual dictionaries, looking through all the background shots, seeing what we could find. This is just wonderful. This is one I think Kenner probably would have actually made if they'd carried on, maybe, because it runs in that sort of background, but sort of scene, what do I say, era, but catchment area of figures that are seen enough maybe to be made. I don't know, possibly. This figure's stunning. It really is. Like, it's got the molded fur look that's done really well. Again, articulation, we got the arms, the head and everything. However, it has got more like a Gamorrean Guard Ewok type legs, you know, where they go out like that, which is more in keeping with the design of the creature. I'm calling it a creature. I know it's an alien, but, you know, let's go creature. So more in keeping with the design, which is nice because it wouldn't have looked right, I don't think, with straightforward legs. Because he's in the nud. Because he's pure fur, I think it works better to have the Ewok type legs rather than if he'd had like a square crotch with the legs being able to come out directly. So I think that this was a really good sort of tactical choice. The sculpting on the head is, again, incredible. The paintwork, again, flawless. He's just such a good character to have. He's even got little arm nubbins. The paintwork on these, again, you know, you see some factory stuff and it's meh. This factory stuff is like spot on. There's been a lot of care, detail, and very specific instructions given to do this. The paint, like itself, it's bizarre. It is that kind of thing where Kenner had those figures that were like matte but gloss at the same time. It's a really weird combination because it does look matte, but it is shiny, so that would make gloss I think semi-gloss is a thing, maybe semi-gloss. One thing he does also come with is the Vibro Mace. I don't know if that's the actual term for it, but I'm calling it that. I wish I could just get a load of these, to be honest. I just want more of these. I think it's great. One, we got a different kind of accessory. It's not just another Stormtrooper blaster thing. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but it's really nice to have a bit of variation, especially in Jabba's Palace. I'm kind of thinking knives, maces, axes, you know, that's all very sort of that kind of Jabba's Palace is all dirty and painful weapons rather than just quick blasters. You know, I think that kind of fits in nicely. So that's really lovely. Sits in the hand. You've got the handle is thicker at that end, so when he puts it in there, you can hold it. Or like I just did there, you can pop it right down and have him going like, you know, look what I've got. Or maybe we can do a bit of a microphone thing. No. Yeah, really nice little accessory. Beautifully done figure. So where should we go next? Well, we know it's time for a transition. So, Death Star Prowl Obi-Wan. And this figure is on fire. Absolutely love this dude. This is, so the original ObiWan Kenobi figure from Kenner. We love it. We know it to death. You know, we love the vinyl cape and that. But the first 12 were very out of place when you put them with the last 17. Two different ends of the spectrum. The style changed quite a lot, but when we got away from A New Hope and got into Empire, I do think the style changed a bit, and really, really in a good way. And I love the first 12, but it's always been a nice progression. Always thought the Kenobi was one of those figures that I probably should have done with an update. And here it is. This is just awesome. The sculpted hood that goes with the body, and I think this is the primary original use for this body, and the other two were really nice bonuses that we could also get out of it. But this, it's just, yeah, it's spot on. It is absolutely crack-a-lacking. I'm liking this a lot. Looks really good in the Death Star playsets. I think, not that I have any of the big Death Star playsets, unfortunately, but I think this would look ace in there. I recently got the Palatoy Death Star, which this looks phenomenal because there is actually a little tractor beam tower. It's almost like they were made to go together. So if you got one, you can't have one without the other. So I would really recommend picking this up. But like I said, this is a really wonderful figure. The face sculpt is spot on. Again, it really does look like this is the ObiWan Kenobi that Kenner would have made if they carried on making figures and revisiting the New Hope. So again, ridiculously happy with it. So happy. So happy. Anyway, let's do a little quick transition again. Whoop, whoop. Oh, didn't see you down there, little baby Wampa. There he is. I'm a sucker for this one because I keep going on about it, but he might be my favourite because I just want to keep him in my little pocket every day. But it's awesome. This is like a proper little brainchild moment. I think this is more like I would love to have a baby Wampa, so I'll just make a baby Wampa to go in my wave of figures. So happy. The paint works really good. It really matches the original Wampa. Unfortunately, mine is packed away, so I can't even do any size comparisons. That's annoying, but I'll be doing that again in the future because there's another version of the Wampa we're going to be looking at next week, and I want to do a custom one to go with that. So at some point, I will be doing a Mama and Papa's episode because there's a baby Bantha, there's a baby Dewback, and a baby Wampa. So I'm considering like a Mamas and Papas type episode coming on soon. Look at this though. It's so nice. The sculpting's brilliant. The little pink in its mouth, the eyes, the horns are movable. So you can go for like, Wampa Devil. No, I got nothing for that. Snow Devil. Let's go with Snow Devil. So I'm going to go for Snow Devil look. Really well articulated. Again, Ewok style legs. So they go out like that because it fits the creature. Furry creature. Legs go like that. Works better in my opinion. Also, does come with an accessory. It's a bone. Throw us a freaking bone here. And they did. It is a tiny little bone. And the good thing about this bone is it seems like a stupid thing to be excited about a bone. But you can do a lot with the bone in Star Wars. If you're doing your Wampa display, a few bones littered around. Awesome. Rancor cave. Little bone sticking out there. Maybe put it in the corner of the Rancor's mouth. That'd be a really cool little accessory. I just think you didn't need to chuck an accessory in it. But it's almost like going, you know what? Have a little bit more. Have a little something on me. So again, I'm just really happy with it. Also, you'll notice he's on a display stand, and that's because I wanted to highlight the fact that these figures do actually have the proper foot pegs. This one's look like they're wonky. They're not. It's because it's got very clever sculpting in the foot, so it can look like he's walking, like the rocking part of the foot. But there we go. Like, see, you can, because of the figure stand, you can have him doing all the crazy, like, whoa, Matrix poses. Because, Matrix and Baby Wampas go together. Like that. I don't know why I turned him into a spaceship. Why not? He might be my favourite, actually, because he's ridiculously cute. You're probably wondering, is he canon? Yes, he is, actually. So, there's this wildlife book, and you can see here that it's quite a rare book, but there are Wampa cubs. Also, more recently, Baby Wampa, in the time that this was released, has now featured in one of the new comic runs, apparently. So, weirdly, it was ahead of its time. So it's canon. Again, it's recannoned. Canification. Add that one to you. We've got one more figure to look at in this wave, so let's do another cheeky transition. Oh, let's use the next 17 bit. There you go. Da, 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 da. They can't tell what I'm doing. They can't tell I'm moving figures. Da da da. Here he is, Jaqualin. I left him for last because I think actually he might be. He's not. Baby Wampa's my favourite cuteness. Obi-Wan's my favourite old man, and this is my favourite alien out of the figures. I'm not counting the Baby Wampa as an alien because it's just adorable, different. This is so good. A whip head sculpt is brilliantly used here, and just designed the little tusks. They've got an actual bit of a point to them. They're not really that rubbery. They've got a bit of a sharp point. The eyes are really narrow but really well painted. The paint job, again, got multiple tones of flesh. What's interesting, again, so it's the same body as Spijic. However, the vestigial arms, I don't know if that's the right word, I think it is. I don't know. Has been covered by this belt accessory, which is like an ammo belt, which the character does have in the film as well. Really clever way of doing it. It makes the figure look very different from each other, despite the fact they are sort of the same. The same but different. Very clever uses, and obviously the head sculpt makes it very different. Also got another accessory here. We got Stabby McStab, aka the Vibro Blade. Sits really nicely in the hand, and you can, if you're wondering, do it as a like Shakespearean thing, and have it so it's like neat. Yes, I'm still a 10-year-old. Again, actually lovely figure, brilliant molding. Now one of those characters that I used to see in I think it was the Visual Dictionary, had a really good shot of J Quill. I keep going to say K Crook because of the Jedi, but no, J Quill. Really good shot in the old visual dictionary back in the 90s, and I just absolutely love the design of this one. Again, I didn't think I'd see a Kenner version, and yet here we go. And the thing is, these are proper factory-made feeling Kenner figures. I love the 3D printed stuff. I love the resin stuff people are doing. I want to give it a go myself. I think people are ridiculously talented, but these really are like Kenner factory made, and that makes a big difference. So I mean, that's wave 2. So I mean, that's a lot of figures we talked about there already. So we are already, so wave 2, that's just one wave, is already 6 figures in the hole right there. And I've got 3 videos. This is part 1 of 3. So this is wave 2. I'm extremely happy. Go check out the website, thenext17.com. These ones are still in stock, I think, or they might be running very low or close to selling out. I don't know, because they've been out a little while and there was a great pre-order run on them. So I think there might be some limited ones left. There's also the different accessories available. Yeah, go check out the website, thenext17.com. Really happy with it. And yeah, join me for part 2, which is eFont Monday. Because of eFont Monday. You get it. Don't worry about it. See you then.